Hey, my friend, have you ever thought of becoming a professional keynote public speaker? Or maybe you just want to be so confident to speak on the stage? Or maybe you are in the corporate world, you are a leader, and you want to learn the secrets how to speak confidently and how to persuade people so that they will always be with you, be on your side, rather than be against you? If that's you, you are in the right place. Today, I'm going to share with you 10 secrets that it can help you straight away to improve your public speaking skills. Well, you ask me, who are you? Why are you sharing this with me? How should I listen to you? I am Kristy. I am a keynote speaker. I recently became a TEDx speaker as well. I write books. I run public speaking masterclass as well as communication masterclass. Other than that, I do coach global CEOs, particularly in the logistics industry. Why should you listen to me? Because I have been working with different types of groups. In the last 2 decades, I have been working with global CEOs around the world. And recent years, I have been invited to different organizations to run masterclass and guide people how they can improve their public speaking skills. Okay, listen, I wasn't born as a confident speaker. I wasn't born as a great speaker. I have tons of embarrassed stories to share with you, but I can share with one story. About a few years ago, I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been a leader, I run business. I I was quite confident. I knew that I could speak in front of people. But one day I got an invitation from someone in the church community, and this guy was really nice. He invited me and say, "Hey Kristy, I love your story. I know you can share amazing testimonials and things with people. We have a coming up gathering. Can you be a speaker that day? You can share 15 to 20 minutes speech." I was like, wow. I was over to the moon. I was so excited. And I was like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. I said straight away, sure, I'm coming. And then start preparing things. I wrote a whole, I'm pretty sure I did like 5, 6 pages of them. I wrote them, keep talking about myself, about my stories. And the day arrived, I was so excited and I started talking about my stories. And at the beginning, people were interested, but after about 5 minutes, people start lost their attention. And then after 15 minutes, I saw I lost the whole attention. There's only one person who was trying to be kind to me and still looking at me. I was like, oh my goodness, I want to hide. This was the worst day in my life. I was embarrassed. What happened here? So right after that, I left the group. I wanted to run earlier, but obviously I took them 40 minutes about the thing I want to share with them. They were expecting only 15 minutes so they can do other stuff. And from then, I just felt so discouraged. I was like, I couldn't do this anymore. It's just so painful. I need to change. I must change. So I started to look for all the solutions, all their teachings and everything. You need to think about this. I was working in corporate world for at least back then 15 years, and I was quite respected by many people, and I also had created a lot of success in life. And then I was asking myself, how on earth couldn't I speak well? How on earth that people just didn't care what I was saying? I was really offended, huge offense, but I was I wasn't angry at them. I was more angry at myself. Why can't I do better? And that's when I started look for solutions, and I started to buy all the communication books and looking for frameworks, looking for things that why other people are doing better than I do. What are they doing? I start to listen to a lot of tapes, when I say tapes, a lot of videos and TED Talk online. I keep looking for anything that can help me to improve my communication skills. And I also I'm very thankful. I want to point out a few people. Vin Jian is one of my great mentors that I learned from his courses, and he's so good. He's an amazing guy. And I also have a TEDx Talk coach. I learned TEDx Talk framework, and I also start learning from amazing people like Myron Golden. And lately, I also registered with Eileen Wilder, who were first class, the top speakers in the world. And I opened my mind to learn every single thing that can improve my communication skills. And long story short, I didn't just learn to be better, improve to be better. I became a TEDx speaker officially. I also start running public speaking and communication masterclass. How crazy is that? Because I used to be learning, now I could teach, not because I was better than anyone, just because I felt before. I didn't want people to feel the same. Lately, I was invited to Theatre Geneva as a speaker to be the gift for those champions from the industry, the young logistics championships. And I delivered a 45 minutes masterclass with many professors and even theater presidents and many people sitting in the room, and they really loved it, and they kept sending me appreciation and amazing messages. And also, I recently started to coach people from high school that I guide the students about communication and public speaking. There are so many stories I can share, but the reason I'm sharing those stories with you is because this is not about me. This is about you, because you know what? You have so much to offer. You know so much, but people don't take it seriously, because it's never about what you say that matters. It's about how you say it. It's never about what your stories matter. It's about how your stories can impact others that matter. Look, I can talk for a whole day about the secrets and framework and everything. There are some videos I already post on my YouTube channel that you can look for them. But today, I'm only going to focus on 10 things that can immediately improve your communication skill whenever you speak, wherever you speak, or anytime when you want to speak. And of course, in any occasions as well. The first and the most is, it is not about you. As a speaker, people always think that, okay, I'm the speaker, I'm at the spotlight. That means I'm the main character. It's all about me, my story, my thing, and I'm here to prove that how good I am. That's what happened to me many, many years ago. I was so embarrassed because it took me so long to understand as a speaker, it is never about you. It's about the audience that you're serving. It's about people who are listening to you. If you get that thing right, you already be 90% more successful than anyone on this planet who want to speak on the stage. And the second thing that I've learned, it is ridiculously simple, but I just got it recently, 2 years ago, not even very long time. I realized that when I try to speak, I would be whether too much, too casual, or I would be too inauthentic. It's like pretending to speak like another person. But here's the thing. It is never about a transaction. It's never about you're delivering a message. It's about a conversational message. If you pay attention to the world's best speakers in the world, when you listen to their speeches, you feel like they're having a conversation with you. And it took me a long time to understand, because I was like, at the beginning, I was very casual. Hey, it's Kristy, my story, which is nice. But then it just becomes like you're not even making efforts, and there's not much energy, and there's no point. It's just going everywhere. That's why it took me a long time to share everything. Mark Twain once said, I didn't have time to write a short letter. That's why I wrote a long one. Think about that. It's always easier to speak more than speaking less effectively. You can speak a few words that can touch someone's heart forever, or you can say a tons of words, but they're non-functional. So to conclude, the second important secret is it is always conversational. You are speaking to every single individual who's sitting in the room or whoever's watching the video that you're speaking. That's the person you're speaking to. You have to imagine you're talking to someone in front of you. When you imagine that you're having a conversation with someone, the whole game is changed. And the third secret is 4 E's. E means entertaining. E also means educational. And E also means empowering. And the last E means engaging. And I would add another E. I said 4 E's, but the last E is also very important. And that is your energy. You need to be energetic. Because when a speaker stands on the stage, if you're not making efforts, okay, the 6E comes up, efforts. If you're not making efforts, there's not enough energy, people don't want to listen to you. But if you're energetic, no matter what you're saying, oh, I love the energy because energy is contagious. Once you can make the energy to the roof, people feel that energy, whether you want them to feel energetic, sad, emotional, whatever you want to do. Oh my gosh, it comes so many E words, emotional as well. But these E words are very significant and it makes a huge difference in your speech. Why entertaining? Because nowadays people are so engaged with this 3 seconds hook, 5 seconds hook, that's a commercial world. I'm a marketer, like I do marketing things and I understand how powerful it is for the 3-5 seconds at the beginning, that how you hook people in, because many people's their brains are already trained to be hooked. If you have nothing to hook them in, they're going to lose interest. They don't want to listen to you anymore. That's why we'll always need to add some entertaining elements into the speech. It is not the majority of the speech, but it's nice when you keep enhancing it by using that, because you can keep their attention with you. They will never fall into sleep. Entertaining contents can be something like humor, can be a very authentic but funny story, or simply you just want to say something to make them laugh, which is good because you're creating a connection with the audience and they can trust you more when you make them laugh. Why educational? Because let's be honest, if you share something on the stage or you're sharing something, having a conversation with someone as a public speaker, you're not there just to have fun. You are delivering some valuable content so that people found it is valuable, that they are so thankful that they have listened to you, or the organizers will say thank you so much that you're here to spread this amazing knowledge and insights and things that can make everyone's life better. That's why educational, it's still significant. Now empowering, if your speech doesn't make people excited or empowered, something's missing. It's like you are celebrating a birthday and people are singing birthday songs. I'm trying to use the best example, but that's how I feel. If you sing a song and you're not even like, oh yeah, thanks everyone, you just like, yeah, thank you. You respond like that. It's not good. You need to be empowered. Hey, thank you so much for being here. You mean a lot to me. Empower everybody who's part of your journey, because everyone wants to feel important and that will make them feel important. Then when you make them feel important, they will also be connected with you. When they're connected with you, you know what's happening next? They're going to trust you. They're going to listen to you. They're going to listen to what you say. How about engaging? If the way how you express is not engaging, again, you're going to lose their attention. When you lose audience's attention, nothing else matters anymore, because no matter how amazing things you have on your hands or you want to share with them, if they're not even looking at you or listening to you, their soul's already gone, even though they're physically there, but they're not there, then your whole speech is wasted. There's no power, no transformation from what you say, which is why engaging is super important. And how to keep them engaged? We can use hooks, we can use stories, we can use statistics to shock them. We can make them know, what? I never heard that before. Wow. You can ask questions to keep them engaged. That's why you see so many speakers, amazing speakers, that say, who here has this? Who here has that? You will engage with the audience, because the more you engage with them, the more they'll get busier and they'll never lose their attention on you. Number 4, virality. Our brain gets shut down after a certain amount of seconds, that less than a minute. When within a minute, if everything is expected, this person start talking exact the same, there's no up or down, there's no unexpected things happened, they're just gonna automatically shut down. And that's why people start to want to fall to sleep when they're listening to a boring speech. Honestly, sometimes the speech itself was really nice, the content, but the way how the presenter did it was the problem. I always say to my students, it is not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Virality is more emphasizing on the way how you say it, how you become a speaker. Then you need to pay attention to a few areas that you can adjust the virality, that people couldn't expect what's going to happen next. They will feel really excited because they never know what's going to happen next. Which is also why contrast makes a huge difference. When they're expecting A, suddenly you come up with B, C, D, E, F, G. It's like, whoa, I never heard of that before. That's interesting. But if they're expecting A, you keep giving them A and A and A. They're just like, I already know what you're going to talk about. I know everything you said. They're just going to lose interest. As I said, this video cannot be too long. I'm only going to share with you a few areas that you can focus working on your virality. Number 1 is your style. For example, you can act more like a friend when you speak something about your own story. When you are speaking about educational content, you can act more like educator. Or when you speak something funny, you suddenly become more like a stand-up comedy. Maybe the other style is you just want to be an inspirational public speaker, like you be very empowering, keep saying you can do this, you can do that. That's another style. But if you keep doing the same thing, imagine that you can do this, you can do that the whole time. In the last 20 minutes, the whole room is like, oh my gosh, I'm out of here, this is boring, this guy keeps talking the same thing. They just don't feel engaging anymore. And the second thing that you can look at the virality is the gesture. If I'm talking to you always doing this, which is funny, when I started my public speaking practice and I knew that I need to use my hand gestures, and I didn't understand about hand gestures. There's so many of them outside there, but the only thing I did was I keep cutting. I was like this, and my camera guy, the staff I hired back then, he said to me, Kristy, and he was holding his laughter. He's like, you did so well, but your hands keep chop, chop, chop. And I was laughing. I was, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. What I mean is, as long as you can work out the difference, you can change this to this or to different gestures. Whenever this variety, people just feel like, wow, that's good. That's good. And if you keep doing the same thing, becomes longer. It's like someone's keep repeating. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to be out of here. That's the same thing. And the next thing about the variety side is you need to check your voice, your volume. Sometimes you're a bit lower. Sometimes you're so loud. But sometimes I turn down again my volume because I do not have to shout all the time. Or I can say, this is amazing. But have you ever thought, see the difference? I'm trying to use my voice. When I go louder and a little bit down, you didn't know what's going to happen next. But suddenly I created a melody, just like music. Because you can speak like, I'm talking about, I can talk to you like this from beginning to the end and just like a robot, and you feel like, oh my gosh, Kristy can't stop it. That can happen. Or I can say, hey, I can talk like this, very loud sometimes, and sometimes I will just turn down my volume. Or I can slowly going up and up and up you can feel the difference. Volume-wise, we also have the tonality, variety. Sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're surprised, sometimes you're disgusted. It's so funny that we didn't realize we were trained automatically to speak the same tonality all the time because we were taught that we couldn't show our emotions because if we do, we're childish. That's why adults are boring. When you talk to an adult, they just, yeah, my day is good. What's yours? Not much expressions, and it's just so boring. When you want the kids to pretend to be an adult, they will be like, hi, good day, everybody, and started to be really serious. Nothing else, just being serious. And it's not effective. You can still deliver the message, but that's not effective. Instead, if you turn that to the rarity when you are saying, hey, I was so happy. I was really happy that day, but then I saw a message coming through. So I checked my message and it says that one of our members who got cancer and she's gone. She's gone forever. I couldn't believe that. I was so sad. I was starting, my eyes are just rolling with tears already. She's such a beautiful person. Life is so short. Did you feel that? Because I was bringing you to the moment I felt. And when I shared with you, you feel the same. That's why when you watch a movie, you know the movies are fake, it's just fiction. But you're crying. Why? Because emotions are contagious. The best speaker in the world will use their emotions. They will share that with people. And they can take them a journey with unexpected, like roller coaster. Sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're like, it's an amazing experience when you can do that. Number 5 is melody. I shared earlier that when you change your voice up and down, and it will create this kind of melody that makes a huge difference. And there's a reason why people always fight, because it's not about what they say. They say something really normal, but then the receiver saying, why are you so angry? So I'm not angry, but the way how they say it, just like, hey, do this, do that. Was like, hey, can you do this? And later, can you do that? See the difference? One is more respectful, because whenever we add melody into our communication, it immediately shifts the tone, shifts the feeling, and it also creates memory and becomes more memorable. That's also why if I asked you to recite a whole page of books, it's probably impossible unless it takes you a long time. But if I ask you to recite a song after a few times, after you listen to it, you can. And the lyrics amount probably are similar to the same page of the book, because there's a power in melody, which is also why you can listen to music for a whole day, but you can't listen to someone speaking for so long unless that person is amazing at speaking. Little disclaimer here, I got flu about 4 weeks ago and I recovered a week ago. My voice is still not completely back. That's why you will hear me a bit funny voice, but I'm doing my best. This is the thing, you cannot control what you can't control. You just focus on what you can do. And number 6 is pause. When you start pausing, you will understand there is a power. If I keep talking and talking and talking and talking, suddenly I stopped. And I pause for 2 seconds. You see the difference? Because when you pause, you give people time to reflect, to think, to review, and also, oh, what happened? Why is it so quiet? They start to pay attention. That means there's something important that's coming. We were not using pause. What happened is we start to add, you know what I mean? You know, uh, mm, so, then. They add a lot of feeling words. And these are non-function words. You can use them, but they're not creating value. And they will make your message less clear. Number 7, your head, your face, your heart, and your hands, they're all interconnected. What does it mean? When I'm moving my hands, when I say stop it, when I do this, my voice immediately has more power. If I say stop it, my voice becomes less powerful because this gesture will make me sounds like I don't know, sounds very weak. That's why your hand gestures are affecting your voice straight away. It's also affecting your thoughts, your subconscious mind, your head. Your head's thinking, you don't know what you're talking about. That's why you're doing that. Which is also why we have hand gestures that's always safe and all the politicians are using. And that's the power sphere. People always use that. And that's okay. But if you keep doing that, your message can be really just with power, missing the variety, missing the other part of it, and it's less fun, less engaging. That's also not as good. At the same time, if you change your face expression, if I do this, the way how I talk is like, what are you doing? Your head is like, I'm confused. Are you happy or are you sad? Which is why when you are trying to speak something that you're so sad, if you're smiling, the audience is like, what? You say you're sad, but why you're so happy? They're confused. It doesn't help to enhance your message. It doesn't bring the best result and transformation and the purpose you want to serve to the audience. Number 8, that's the biggest mistake I've ever made. Back to the story that I was in that room. I had no topic, I had no point. If you are sharing stories without a point, you are wasting your time. It's not effective, it's not gonna help anyone. And that's also why every best speaker in the world, they will always let the audience remember one thing, this one point that they're gonna mention again, again, and again throughout the message, that people will never forget about it. And if you mention more than one point, you want people to take away more than one thing, I'm sorry to tell you, most likely your speech will not become the best one, the first class level. Because as long as you can get people to remember one thing, which is unlikely they're not going to remember. Because everybody can do one thing at a time. And secondly, when they have more things to remember, which of course that one thing can then inspire them to remember other things as well. I'm talking about at least that one thing is so clear or your speech will be ruined. And no life should be transformed if you don't stick to your one point. And most of the time, just like all of the others, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I know so much. I want to share all of this to them, dump a whole thing, whole loads to them. They cannot digest. They're not here to expect more work, more load. They want to feel uplifted. They want to feel to believe themselves more. They want to feel that you've pumped them with energy and fuel rather than feeling heavier. And number 9, interactions. If you only speak from beginning to the end, we mentioned earlier about conversational, that's number 2 tip. But interactions is really every now and then you should interact with the audience. You don't have to have all the big games to play with them, but you can ask questions. Hey, me, if you put your hands up. That's why you see so many top speakers, especially like Tony Robbins, they always say, hey, say me. Everybody say me. They keep following him because he's taking them a journey that they always engage with him and they're always interacting with him. If you are the best speaker and even you are a leader, CEO in a working place, you should use that. You should get involved and get your staff to respond to you, interact with you. Most of the time, the disaster went, people just talking. No one's listening. And everybody just want to escape. And they're just ignoring the elephant in the room. You have to point it out. If people are not paying attention, that means your message is not engaging. You need to find a way to get them back. One of the best and effective ways is to interact with them. 10th, the last but not the least, your goal is not to just be informative, because with AI nowadays, everything can be informative so quickly within seconds. You are there because you want more transformations. How you transform the audience's journey and whoever's listening to you, that's your mission. And when you know your purpose is to transform them, not to just deliver a message, you will change and you will find better ways to train yourself to be a better speaker. And you will also know how to say things and ask questions, even if you have zero background about what I shared for the last 10 tips. The last tip will help you already to understand, okay, I need them to be transformed. What should I do so that they can be transformed? And when you shift that, everything will be shifted as well. There you have it. I hope you can take this with you. This is worth 100,000 or more dollars and 100,000 more hours that you don't need to go through all these mistakes that I made. And I know you have great stories to share. And I know you don't want to waste your life to hide amazing experiences and knowledge that you already have that you can help to plan into someone else's lives. But if you don't improve your communication skills, if you don't improve your public speaking skills, nothing will be changed. I want to end it with this. You're amazing, but also remember, as Henry Ford once said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you are right. And I'm here to tell you, I believe in you. You can do this. And remember what Henry Ford said. It is your choice to say to yourself, I can do this. Thank you so much for being my journey. God bless you. Have a great fun being a public speaker.